Good morning. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii and it's still morning. But I'm coming to you today as Dr. Wilhelmina, and we are going to talk about an interesting, very interesting subject, and we're going to have fun doing it. So, first, let me say I'm here with this squeaky chair. I should call this podcast the squeaky chair. So, let's go with our subject. So, to title our subject, I would call it May to December relationships. If you've ever heard of the term, you might have you might have actually heard of it, but it's really those uh, relationships that have a significant gap in age. I really know that I have a story to tell about my own relationship with us having a significant gap. He's in his 30s, I'm 60. That's a significant gap. So, I can relate to this subject, and I will definitely give some information about my own relationship because that's the only experience I have with it. So, and I don't know a lot of people that are in the situation that actually talk about it. So I'm talking about it so you all can understand some of the pitfalls and triumphs that we have within this type of relationship. So, first, let's just talk about love. Love is a deeply personal and subjective experience, and most would argue that it transcends age. I've always thought that way. I never expected such a gap. But there's no official minimum age or maximum age for feeling love, as it can be experienced at any age of life. However, in relationships, it's important to consider maturity, life experiences, and the ability to be informed on decisions or to make informed decisions, which often come with age. You get a little more comfortable as you get older with saying no or making decisions you need to make for your life. You're just like, okay, I've been there, done that. I know what it's like. I don't want to do that. So, on the other hand, when you're younger, you may not have that. So, I would also say that life circumstances, along with the experiences of life circumstances, have a lot to do with maturity. And if you imagine a death of a parent, addiction, or one of the parents being addicted or both, um, and having absent parents, those situations I could see, this is just personally for me, how a person's life circumstances can affect how mature they are. Might be a lot more mature than what you would expect for the average, let's say, 30-year-old, since I'm in that. Um, but legally, in many places, they set an age of consent laws to protect younger people, to protect them from being taken advantage of, which indirectly relates to age and relationships. Emotionally, love can grow and evolve over time, and what feels like love as a young age might look different as one matures. So ultimately, love is unique to each person and their situation. I would say, I'll wait till we go on to other topics about this and give examples of what I experienced. So, again, it's called a May to December relationship if you've never heard of it. And it refers to a gap in age between partners, but like a significant gap. Uh, it, ca- it can be deeply fulfilling, but also comes with unique challenges. So, like I said, the ups, the turbulence, they're there like any other relationship. Uh, and sustaining that relationship requires understanding of some areas, and that's what we're going to talk about: communication and mutual respect. Here are some key strategies for you. Open communication. Since you do have that difference in age, you may have you may communicate differently than the other person. And for me, since my fiance is in Africa, we definitely have been raised differently and at my age, having a different focus than he has. So, we have to discuss our expectations, our needs, and our concerns openly, not holding on to it, because when you hold on to it, it builds up resentment. You might say things you don't mean, but I already know this because I'm old. But he seems to understand when we have difficulties, we are able to navigate through those very easily, and I think it's the upbringing of that person, and because he had to grow up so early in life and take care of business at home due to his death of a family member of his father. Um, so we address our insecurities also, maybe our doubts that arise due to age difference. And the interesting thing is, it's not about either one of us thinking that someone's gonna roll up, some young person or some older gentleman's gonna roll up and take either of us away from each other. That's not a concern at this point. Maybe later on as I age, maybe I'll start feeling insecure, but I don't feel it now. But definitely something to be on guard for later in life, to know that I need to address those insecurities as they come up. For him, same thing. He's just confident, positive when it comes to me, and he knows that I'm committed. I mean, I've been sitting here all this time waiting for this visa to come through without a bit of attention to any other man. So, we're good in that area right now. But, so you also wanna focus on common interest. While your ages may be different, shared interests can help bridge a gap. Engage in activities you both enjoy and explore hobbies together to create shared experiences. I love it because we're both he wasn't an official athlete. Actually, he was. He did play soccer for a while. Well, football for a while until, he had to mature and help take care of the family. But um, for me, being and it's funny because I've been very interested in soccer uh, since I met him. Very interested in getting to know it, and I had my own team because when I was in England, my team was Manchester United. I loved them. They're not doing that great now, but that was my team. So um, I've had some experience with that, and we both share that. But after watching the Olympics, I really am a sportsman. I love certain sports, gymnastics, track and field. I'm so I was so into it. I got to watch the high jump, and that was really fun because I could diagnose the issues as I watched it, which is kind of funny because it's been so long since I've high jumped. But I actually hold the record at my university for high jump. So, yeah, I was that serious about, sports. I did do the heptathlon. Was a I was a runner in general, but I really enjoyed the high jump even more and long jump. But anyway, back to the subject. We're both sportsmen and we can talk about sports, and I learn from him, he learns from me. It's that's our one big connection as far as hobbies, things like that. I'll watch more soccer, and I'm sure as we get to watch track and field, he'll watch more and we can talk about it. But that's our huge connection in sports, and I would say that's the biggest thing that we talk about. Um, just that's just one example. So number three, because I just told you one and two, open communication and focus on common interests. Number three is mutual respect. We got to respect each other's life experiences, opinion, and perspectives. Understand that your partner's experiences and viewpoints might differ due to generational differences, and that's okay. We were talking about that at work. There's a whole briefing we're going to put together and probably do for workplaces, different offices on the generational differences and how we communicate differently. Uh, it's important to have that um, common respect for each other in the workplace and have empathy and understand that we communicate differently, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the desire to want to get along and have a great environment at work. So it's the same with relationships. We're going to communicate differently, which we do. I'm like a bull in a china shop. I want to get to whatever the subject is, straighten it out. Okay, let's do this, whatever, whatever. He's more calm and will listen and hear what I have to say, and I'm learning from him because I used to, in the beginning, listen to speak as if I have something to say first, and he was just not, um, that person to kind of accept that, but he's never been disrespectful. He's That's not him, but he would talk over me because I would talk over him, so he'd talk over me sometimes, but but for the most part, he's calm, "Listen, I understand, babe. I got it, babe. Okay. Now, this is why this doesn't work for me," or whatever, whatever. So we he I'm learning more to not be so bold and talk over him and jump in, it's just been really good, our mutual respect, and I respect his point of view from his life experiences and his, um upbringing and him being Muslim, that's just a whole different thing for me because I'm actually Christian. I grew up in Lutheran church, so I'm on that side of the house. But neither one of us are going to be changing our religions, but we do understand that we're different in that way, and we are respectful of each other. That because there may things be things that he does related to his religion that I know, but and same with me, where he's like, "Oh, no, we don't do that. Let's just take one thing, alcohol, drinking." They don't drink. So that's something a challenge that we'll have because I do drink. Not often. I drink a little, but still I do. So the next thing, number 4, is adapt to life stages. Be mindful that you may be at a different life stage with different goals and responsibilities. Absolutely. We are. For example, this is exactly us. For example, one partner might be more focused on career growth, while the other might be considering retirement. And that's exactly us. He's going to have career growth, and I'm looking at retirement, but my retirement isn't a full total like done. I have some things I want to do while I'm retirement. I'm sorry, while I'm retired. That will be fun and that I want to enjoy life. And I don't know how much life I have left on this earth. So I want to enjoy the rest of it that I have. I spent too many years as a youngin worried about what people say, how I look, what's going on, and people not liking me. That's I've moved on from but I do acknowledge, and we both acknowledge that these differences, and we find ways to support each other. I can remember being drug, and I talk about this sometimes. Being drug on Facebook. I mean, it was bad, and it made me timid with being out there, people knowing me, or even doing this kind of stuff, podcast or posting on social media. But I didn't let it stop me, even though I had that angst and anxiety. So I've grown to a place where I won't say I don't care at all, but I don't let that drive me in my decisions because what people might think on the other end, because that was horrible and it actually gave me growth to where I'm more comfortable with people not liking me or people not agreeing with me or saying what I need to say, except when it comes to I work for the military and there are certain things I cannot do online, especially around politics that might influence my subordinates. So certain things like that, you won't see it. Anyway, enough of that. But I understand his stage and my stage. He understands mine. He knows he's always willing to learn, and I'm going to help him in the career growth. That's one of my goals because, like, again, I don't know how long I will be here. Coming to America is different than where he lives, so I'm definitely excited about helping him to grow at his pace. Social dynamics. Be prepared for potential social challenges such as judgments, misunderstandings, and from friends or family or society. It's important to stand united and support each other in facing these external pressures. So, I had something happen this week, uh, and it made me really understand that, people can judge you or have a misunderstanding and not even know what the hell you were talking about. I was trying to inspire the people behind us that are going through the visa process that are like struggling because they don't understand. You have to be patient. You have to wait. Every single step takes time. And I can remember being in their shoes. And at 7 months, they approved us to go to now the embassy. So the US approved us to now go to the embassy and get their approval. So 7 months was quick. So I expected things to move fast too, keep going fast, but it didn't. And we're still slowed down. But um, what I can say is that it's given me the desire to want to inspire others and just pour into them. So we have a chat and I didn't create it. I'm just in the chat with everybody else, and I only chime in when I know what I'm talking about because it's so frustrating waiting and getting the wrong information would be bad. So I had told them whatever the information was that I was talking about, it does take time or whatever, whatever. And then I went to say, you're gonna feel like you just accomplished a major task because you're gonna be so excited when you get this next step. And really, we did we just waited. We waited. It was for the appointment. We just waited for the appointment to pop up, and it took a while. It just took a lot of patience. So that's really what they're doing. I was trying to tell them that you're just gonna be feel like you got away with something that's gonna feel so good. And I put 2 laughing emojis next to it because it would to me, I was saying this was my experience. This is how I was. And it was crazy because all I was doing was waiting to pick an appointment. I had one of the members in there come at me and say, "Are you not?" She didn't say that I think it was a woman, that I was laughing at her, but I think that's what she took it because she said later, "But you did put the emojis." And I was like, I'm really laughing at myself and how I felt, and I wasn't intended to be rude or anything like that. Um, and we went not back and forth too much because I don't do that, but enough for me to just say, I'm gonna let you sit with that and keep that opinion. That's fine, but that wasn't my intent, and I went on about my business. But what I'm saying is, a lot of times, and this isn't related to our relationship, but that miscommunication and the misunderstandings, they happen, especially you're talking about um, different cultures and all that. I mean, when we definitely are. So they happen. So I called him and I told him, I'm sorry. I said, but are you getting ready to scold me for that? He's like, no, it is what it is. I was like so surprised because I know he's not one, he wouldn't get in there and do that back and forth with anybody. And I was really trying not to. So anyway, I was surprised that he was very understanding. Okay, number 6 is maintaining your independence. So both partners should maintain their own identities and personal interests outside of this relationship. Like he doesn't have to be into everything I do, like these podcasts and having this side biz. I'm sure he will help me because it's in the end it's money. So he's gonna help, but doesn't have to be his interest. Uh, this helps prevent feelings of dependency or imbalance. And definitely don't want that. I don't want him to feel like, oh, you're dependent on me. Get your job, make your money, do what you're going to do with it. That's already been decided from the beginning. So, anyway, so we don't have to have the same interest. Like he can go on with football and I can go do something else if we have to. But just we'll see how it goes. That's something we're going to have to navigate. Okay, number 7, plan for the future. Discuss long-term goals, including financial planning, health considerations, family dynamics. Planning for the future together can strengthen your bond and ensure you're on the same page. This has been important to me from the beginning that uh, we have those long term goals and we talk about how they're going to fit into our lives, especially financially. Um, I, he hates when I say this, but chances are I'm going to be going first. So we need to have things set up and make sure that it's what we want and my part of it, what I want. Because on my side, my financial side, I want to make sure it's what I want. And on his side also what he wants. And we've talked a lot about this stuff. So and we're good. Definitely don't want him dependent on me or me dependent on him. But there will be times when as I get older, I will be a little dependent. I'm going to be because things are going to come up. But anyway, I digress. Uh, Next, we have embrace the differences. So the differences, we are different. I can be a little bit uptight. He's laid back, but it works for us. Rather than seeing our age differences as a hurdle, we embrace it as an opportunity to learn from each other. And actually, I always heard from people, "Don't go looking for a man. Don't do," and that would drive me nuts because it'd always be my married people. And I'd be like, "You sitting over there with a husband. What happened with y'all? Did you look for him?" So, but it was still good advice, but it used to drive me crazy. Uh, but in this case, he came after me. He'll say we found each other, but the truth is he found me. So the older partner can share wisdom and life experiences, while the younger partner can bring fresh perspective and energy. And that is so true. And I know that if you have younger people in your life, that happens. Like their perspective is so different and their energy is very different. There's some negative stuff, but there's also a whole lot of positive um, interactions and positive information and getting to understand the younger people. My child, she's better than me, and I say this all the time. She's better than me, and I wish that I could be like her in so many ways. Um, the way that she handles and looks at situations is just so ooh, so good and so loving and her energy, which by the way, she's not her, she's they. Sometimes her comes out, just roll with it. They have a wonderful perspective. And I see that also with my man. Um, Seek support if needed. If you encounter challenges that seem difficult to navigate on your own, consider seeking support from a therapist, a counselor, who specializes in relationships. They can provide guidance and tools to help you both grow together. And I'm not against that at all. I mean, how could I be in my business? If we need that support, we'll seek it. I don't know. This is something we haven't talked about, so I don't know how he feels about that. I imagine he'd be fine with it, but I really don't know. So we're going to say that. I know in their culture, they have elders and you can talk to the elders. And one of them had talked to me when I was there and said, if you have any issues, let me know. So, yeah, I think he'd be okay with it, but that's something we still need to talk about. Um, so we're closing this. In a May to December relationship, the key is to focus on what brings you together rather than what sets you apart. If both partners are committed to the relationship, willing to adapt, support each other, the age difference can become a less significant factor. over time. So it's going to be a factor, but it becomes less of a thing. And I think right now it's just not a thing with us, but when we get around family, friends, maybe coworkers, other people, and we're together, people see us and we're around, it might be some things. Well, there will be some challenges. There are already at least I would say 2 people that are a little bit of a challenge, and they're on my side. His side, all for it. So, we'll see how it goes, and we'll pray for the best and handle it as best we can. We won't harp on it. We won't let anybody come between us. So, um, we'll do our best. I'm sure we're already doing great. Thank you for listening. Anyone else? And share it with them. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, and just come back for more tips. I talk about wellness, relationships, skincare, just a whole buttload of topics. Come back and join me. Have a beautiful day.